Most online strength coaches think that getting leads is hard. They think it's all about luck, algorithms, or even having 100,000 followers. But that's not true. And the truth is, the coaches that you're actually looking up to are not viral. They're just consistent and they attack things with a strategy. And they build a system that compounds with every post, every week, every month, and turns them into clients. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today, how to build your compounding effect with the growth engine. And this is episode 4 of the Growth Engine mini-series, where I'm showing the online coaches how to hit 10K months without having to do stupid stuff like get agencies involved to get you leads because you can't run your own business. But I'm going to show you exactly what I've done myself and how I have worked with other guys as well. And if you haven't already seen episodes 1, 2, and 3, then stop and go and watch them now because it'll make much more sense if you watch this. But in today's episode, we're going to go deep into exactly how we can build your business to get the attention and actually nurture people over time. First of all, most coaches believe that word of mouth is their main form of lead generation. And I've seen this time and time again. And I've also been in the position where I was getting enough referrals through word of mouth, and I thought that that was actually a thing. But I'm sorry to disappoint you if you feel like this, but that is not a generation of how you are going to bring leads into your business consistently. And you also can't actually turn the volume up on that. It's not a strategy, it's literally surviving as you go through. Leads do not come from luck. They come from momentum. And I want you to really think about this because over time, as you build momentum in your business, you will start to get much better at understanding the flow of what needs to happen daily to continue that process. We don't want quick wins. We want consistent work as we go on. You don't need to go viral or have thousands of followers. Just need to be consistent, have clarity, and a simple system that compounds. And that really is the way we need to be looking at this. But that is exactly why I built what I call the Smart Ad Protocol. Now, this is a system that brings new eyes, new followers, and new leads. And this is exactly what we want to be doing to your profile every single day while you're coaching, creating content, and actually living the life that you want. Because again, so often people think that you have to grind out the hours, you have to be working round the clock to actually get yourself in a position where you're constantly building your momentum with leads. But it isn't. It's about being in front of the right people, but also then being able to manage where people go. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the growth engine. Now, the power behind the strategy of what we do, let's just remember, as we've gone through in the video before, funnels do not work. They are a way that we go from stranger to lead, client to case study, and it's clunky on the steps that they have to take because they're big steps. And what I call this is sales-based conversion, where you're relying on making that sale through the funnel work that happens. Where what I run is based on market-based conversion. It's a completely different thing. It's a flywheel. And throughout this process here, we are building more trust as we go through. We go from stranger to follower, follower to lead, lead to community member, and then to a client and a case study. And it allows us to go back through that system. And again, we're looking at market-based conversion as opposed to always relying on that sale. There's a lot of people that don't sort of understand what a flywheel is. And I've also had people that have said, well, it's basically just a funnel with a different name. But actually, my friend, it isn't. There's a completely different way that we work with this. And what I've recently put in with my flywheel is the system of ManyChat. And this has honestly changed the game for me because with ManyChat, if you put it in the sections here and here, it automates things. You don't have to do the steps. And if you're anything like me and you don't want to spend too long on your phone, on your computer, and constantly DMing people, then this is going to change the game for you as well. Because after the Smart Ad Protocol, which I'm going to teach you in a moment, we then have an automation in place. Then from here, we go for the Power Community, which has an automation in place that turns them into a customer. And then we go back round here in the flywheel effect to hit the case studies, which we will eventually be getting off the clients that we're working with to then promote our product again. And once somebody is in your flywheel, they don't get out. And that is the whole idea of this process and system. So let me show you the model of exactly what the Smart Ad Protocol looks like. Because initially, like the organic content is the most important thing we need to do first. And if you are a coach right now running an online coaching business and you're not advertising yourself and you're not growing your audience and you're not building trust with your organic content, then you are not even starting a business. You need to make sure that your shop front is already organically working. And this is through the GAP framework, which is what I teach. And it's growth, authority, and personal, making sure you get a really good mix of these so your content speaks directly to your ideal client's pain, desire, and belief. And then we've got the smart ad protocol, which is where this kicks in. We do follower ads that amplify what's already working. And it's really important to understand here, we have to find out what's working first. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, exactly how to do that. And then we have many chat automations, which are comment triggers that start warm conversations automatically. So you don't have to be doing it all the time yourself. And then we've got Skool and email, which is where the followers turn into leads and they get value-based lead magnets that we take them through to get them to the next step of their direction of where they want to go, but also build that trust so they become somebody that wants to buy off you eventually. And then we've got nurture offers. So these are behind the scenes workshops, trainings, calls, and we move them closer to the sale. Again, this is part of breaking down the steps as opposed to just slamming someone in the face saying, buy my shit, because it does not work. It used to work years ago, but there's just too many people out there now. And then we've got the DM to sale. That's closing with connection and not pressure. So we really need to look at exactly how we're closing people as opposed to just looking for money all the time. And I say this all the time, but it's very much like when you become a personal trainer in a gym and you're just looking at all the clients or all the members, should I say, and you're just thinking, have they got money? Have they got money? And you then start being different, acting different, where actually, if you look at just helping them get to the next step, you'll find that they will actually come around to you quicker than you would have the other way around. So the big lesson that I've learned over the last 12 months is spend time on content ideation, creation, and delivery, because it's an investment into your business and can't be faked or cut corners. Now, this is really vital to understand because, again, there are so many online coaches that have never ventured into the content world before. They struggle, they get stuck, and then they just post anything. And if this is you, this is not how you build a business. You need to specifically look at who you're talking to and understand how you can get them to the next step. And that is the really important thing I want you to understand. So put the time in on the effort and the effort in on your content, and it's an investment into you and your business. So look, here's the rules of why organic and paid ads need to work together. Because quite simply, the organic is the area that will test to see exactly what's working. If you put things out organically and they are working well, this is giving you an indicator of if it is the right thing to be posting out for people. And from that information, you then know if you're going to amplify it with the ads. Paid ads are simply how you are going to amplify what you know is already working. So think about that. Rather than just putting an ad together and putting it out to everybody, we're going to figure out if it works first. And this is going to help you to stop throwing money at unproven content, because it happens all the time. And especially with an ad agency where they'll then say they'll put a system together that's worked for everybody else. Well, every coach is different and their audience is also different. So the approach needs to be different. But your best performing posts is your best performing ad, because it already validates by real numbers from everybody that's watching it. And what I do here is, it's very simple. I've done this in the last 8 months now and it has been crushing it. But I just take what's already working and resonating organically, boost it using the smart ad protocol, and let it reach more of the right people with 3 clicks, 30 seconds, and a massive return of investment. And if you get into understanding how ads work through boosted, simple follower ads, then you don't need to go into the whole tech world of complicated ad strategies or paying an agency crazy amount of money. This is exactly how it works. I'm going to break this down for you. So step 1 is you research. Now, this is again, the golden nugget that I mentioned earlier, where I just know online strength coaches are not doing this, but they need to be focusing on this. So you need to research what is working well. Study what's already working in your niche. And when I say this, you want to go to people that you look up to in your niche. Now, there's actually a brand new feature. If you can see this here, it's probably a little bit blurry, but there's a brand new feature here where you can go onto people's profiles. You can click the Reels button, you press the button again, and it brings up the most viewed. Now, if you can see the guys that you look up to, what their most viewed posts are, then you can rip those posts off. And I've spoke about this before with stealing people's posts, and there's a lot of people that will think, but stealing posts then is not you. But that is where it's completely wrong. If you steal a post and you steal the hook that is already validated through the algorithm and is working well, like this with high views, then you know it's working well, and why wouldn't you use it? Nobody is using their own hooks if people are testing them, because why would you? There is no point in trying to recreate the whole model. You just use what's already working. So you go to people's profiles, see what their best versions are, and then you use the hook and you build the rest of the post out how you are as a person. So you're not stealing the whole thing, you're just actually stealing the hook and the concept of the post. But you find out what's already working and what gets attention, and then you use that as your starting point and then build your posts around that. And inside the shift, we break this down and do a step-by-step for everybody to work on. Step 2 is then to create the gap framework. Now, this is exactly what I said earlier: growth, authority, and personal. You've got to get your content to shift beliefs and not just show off. There's so many coaches, and I was also there myself, where you're constantly posting about yourself. You're constantly posting what you can lift, how you look, and yes, it is your journey, but at the same time, you need people to know that they are buying into somebody that understands them. So you need to shift it round so that you're focused on the person. People don't buy the training, they buy the transformation. And when you start to think like that, your posts will then start to change. So every post that you make should make them think, that is me, and that's this guy gets me, this girl gets me. And that is exactly what we want to do with the growth, authority, and personal content. The growth is to get more eyes on your profile. The authority is to show you know what you do. And the personal is you being real. Then we've got step 3. So test organically. So this is the first step before we go into the boosted, but you need to post consistently 5 to 7 times a week. If you are not already doing that, then you are not going to train your algorithm. You're not going to get the right response from your audience to know then what you can post and boost with. But you need to make sure that you've got it across your chosen platform. Master one platform before you move on to anything else. And don't chase perfection. Just stay consistent and watch what actually lands. Because if you are procrastinating, holding back, again, I've been there, you are never going to get yourself out there. You're better to get a post out every single day than a really good post out 4 times a week. Some people will say opposite. Test it out and try it. But there are too many posts now that are too edited, and you're just not getting the consistency. So therefore you can't get that organic feedback. Step 4 then is to boost strategically. So again, take your top performing post and amplify it. We're going to spend £5 to £10 per day using follower ads, and that is all it is. That's all it needs to be. And you want to get your ideal client onto your profile. And the whole idea here is that we're getting people onto your profile so they can see who you are and what you do and if you can help them. And if your profile isn't optimized, then you need to get your profile optimized. If you don't know what that means and you're struggling with it, and then go to the description below, get yourself into my free community on Skool, and you can optimize your profile with the free resources that are in there. Because when people land on your profile, it is vital that it is very clear of who you are, what you can do, and where you're going to guide them next. And then finally on step 5, we've got automate and nurture. So this is the area there which I use ManyChat and Skool. We're going to go through the taking people's email, nurturing through both emails and on Skool, and reaching out into DMs, and using ManyChat to link everything through. And we're going to send behind the scenes offers, trainings, mini events, so that they can see the angles of it. So all angles of what you do, and with tons of value and belief shifting content. And this is the most important part, because if they're not getting value and you're not shifting their belief, then they're never going to be a part of your team, because they need to see that you understand them and you can help them. And that is how you compound your leads without needing a massive following. You do not need a huge following to be able to achieve these things. And then we've got moving on to, which is a huge area which I've lent into massively over the last 6-7 months now, but it's building trust with the 7-11-4 rule. Now, this is a stat from Google where your audience needs to see at least 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, and 4 different types of media before they're actually ready to buy. Now, just read this again for a moment. Before they're ready to buy. This is a proven and known stat, and it's built through tons and tons and tons of data. And if you're not playing this game, you're not going to then move people closer to you at a faster pace. That is why I, if you will notice, have started doing YouTube videos in the last 6 months, because this is the area where I'm able to deliver really good value, just like this video, and build trust. Right now, I'm building trust with you, hoping that you join the shift. If you want to join the shift, DM me 69 on Instagram and I'll send you the information. But that is the whole idea of this. And look, that is business. If you see value in this and you go, shit, he's a fucking good looking guy, I want to be a part of his team, then you will jump on board, you'll get insane results. I make money, you make money, we all win, and we have a party together. But this is why your content isn't selling. It's about stacking trust. And often people are not stacking enough trust. They're just throwing a cold sort of advertisement out there and wondering why people don't buy. And that is why I focus on one clear message across platforms and let consistency do the heavy lifting. If you're consistently showing up, consistently shifting beliefs, and consistently giving value, people will remember you and they will at some point want to be a part of your team. But here we go with the common mistakes. Most coaches go wrong in what they do instead of what their clients need. So often coaches are pushing the content of this is what I can do, this is how I can achieve, and this is where I've been. And as much as that is great, and yes, you need that for that, I guess, authority side of things. But something I say to my guys is put a tiny spin in there that you're teaching as well. And that way you are then teaching the guys that are watching you to be able to do that and implement it for themselves. But often coaches are actually focused too much on themselves instead of actually what their clients need. So if this is you, do some market research, speak to people, figure out and brainstorm the whole what your clients actually want. Something that we do inside the shift is the painkiller method, where we break down actually what your clients need and what the unique mechanisms are that we teach them to fix those problems. And this is a killer way of doing it. Again, if you haven't got access to that and you want access to it, then jump on to my Skool community and you can get access for that. The link's below in the description. And then the other thing is that they try to impress other coaches instead of connecting with their prospects. And again, it's a wild world, right? People are competing left, right, center. And naturally we are competing, especially with a lot of the guys that have, been down the route of either competing for themselves in, whether it be strongman, powerlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it is. And you have that mentality and that competitive edge. You then start looking at other coaches and try and do better than them. But actually, that's not the important part. The important part is actually looking at the clients that you're trying to attract and talking directly to those guys. But you don't need to prove that you're strong or successful. You need to prove that you understand them and you have the ability to help them to get their outcome. The important part here is quite simply about them and their outcome. You need to direct everything towards them so they look at it and go, this person gets me. So here is the actual flow. This is the official way of getting people through to becoming a client. Now, the reel or a post triggers a DM through ManyChat. This is the first thing that happens. We say comment a word or DM a word, and ManyChat will automatically trigger the next steps for them. The idea here is to not to say buy something, it's to give them value and to nurture people. The DM drops them a free Skool group or a training, whatever it is. It could go to Skool itself and it could be a lead magnet, or it could go to a YouTube video which is giving value, just like this one. Skool and email nurture with offers, value, and calls. So this is where we then give lots to the community. Everybody's inside my Skool gets a hell of a lot for free in the hope that at some point they're going to buy off me. They also get emails. I send out daily emails, weekly emails, and they also go on an automation at the start so they understand and learn about me. And then they apply when they're ready. It's really important to understand this part, when they are ready, because again, most coaches are wanting more leads. They're getting leads and they're slapping them in the face with buy my shit. That is not how we do business, right? You need to warm people up. And if you haven't got something set up like the growth engine, then you're not really going to be warming people up. You're just going to be constantly trying to sell. And the whole idea of this is we just keep feeding the front end, the flywheel keeps it into flow, and they just keep going around in that circle. And this is how you turn attention into trust and trust into clients automatically, because the flow works on its own. And this is the reinvestment rule that I set. So reinvest to scale. Now, again, you don't need £1,000 ad spend per month. You don't need £1,000 agency for your ads. Or in most cases, a lot of people do both. And again, I have been there and I've spent £1,000 for somebody to do my ads, and I've spent well over £1,000 per month doing the ad spend, which it's a lot of money. It takes time to build, but building it this way is very cheap because all you're having to do is use software, and it just takes your time because you're then editing content and guiding people through the flow. But here's my rule, right? We invest 10% of all cash collected back into the business so you can be visible by the right people. And this is where we do the 2 to 4 boosted video posts at a time. Depend on your budget and depends on what you want to do. But the whole idea is we spend 5 to 10 per post, and I will have typically, like say, 2 to 4 running at one time. And these posts, again, are not buy my stuff or join my program. They are giving value. They are shifting beliefs. They are building momentum. They're sending people to trigger DMs so that then ManyChat takes over and you can get them into your growth engine. And by doing it this way, you are building and compounding over time. It's not about making the sale right now. It's about taking them to the next step. But they feed the growth engine, and the growth engine feeds everything else. Consistency compounds. This is one of the biggest lessons that you could learn throughout this system and ultimately within marketing, because often people think marketing is all about selling, but actually it's about taking them to the next step. The boosted ads, ManyChat, and lead magnets alone won't fix your business. And this is something that I want you to know, because look, you don't just plug this stuff in and all of a sudden your business is fixed and you become a millionaire overnight. Most online coaches mess it up because they apply one thing or all of them, but they're not consistent enough or do it long enough. And then they say it's not working. And ultimately, that's when the dummy gets spat out. But for anybody that ever feels like this, I want to tell you, hand on heart, I'm a council estate boy. I had zero help, but I stayed fucking consistent with this game. I continued to learn the stuff, and I built what I have right now. And you can do this as well. It does not take a brain surgeon to do this. You just have to be consistent, keep showing up, and not spit your dummy out. But what you do need is a clear message to your audience. You need to study your perfect future client's language. This is massive because, again, often people are talking how they want to talk for the sake of other coaches or their life, but actually it's not attracting their ideal client. The organic content that is well designed and consistency on all of these things. Again, consistency is the thing that is repeated often here because it is the killer of all of it. We need to make sure that you're staying consistent on everything you do. Your organic content is there and it's constantly working and designed well. And then you'll start to see the difference. And it's really good to know, like, this is just a couple of guys that are working with me. We've got Jess, James, and Ainsley, all brought up their online business working with me with their dream clients using my strategies, all without a crazy follower account. And that is the important thing I want to say here, because again, for me, even if I get low views or engagement, or it could be on YouTube, it could be on any of the platforms, like, to me, if I can get 1,000 people to see my shit, that is a small football stadium. We have to look at it like this. We don't want to get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of just likes and comments, but no buyers. You want to have less people, but more buyers. And that is how you get a stronger audience. I mean, look at, for example, Ainsley's is the smallest there, 1,000. And she is now working with her dream clients and actually blown up her online business. And what I want to do is I want to give you a bonus for sticking around for this video. Because if you stuck around for this video, I want to give you a free gift. And it's, if you DM me the password tropical on Instagram, I'll give you free access to the Smart Ad Protocol. And this is the training inside Skool that is normally £50. But if you DM me the password, and I'll know exactly where you've come from, and I know you've made it to the end of this video, and I want to thank you for that. So I'll give you access to the Smart Ad Protocol inside Skool, and you can implement that into your business. Now, I don't know about you, but that was absolutely sick, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you took tons from that. You've wrote shit down and you're actually going to start implementing this today. This is episode 4. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to turn your content into conversions, use long form content, and actually pre-sell people into your program, because that is the biggest part of understanding marketing. It's not about selling them right now, but it's pre-selling them before they get into your sales part, and then the sale becomes easy. We're going to dive deep into authority content and actually build a personal brand that people want to buy before they even speak to you. Drop this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video.